When an industry is hot, investors are willing to pay pretty steep prices for stocks within the industry. However, when an industry is hated, you can literally show them a briefcase filled with money and they won't look at it. This is the state of the cannabis industry in the United States. I remember this like it was yesterday. This stock went from 25 cents to $10 on one announcement. All this company had to do was say, we are getting into cannabis. That's all that was needed. This is when the industry was hot and full of promise. This was during the time when Joe Biden was the president and the promise of cannabis reform was a possibility. Unfortunately, instead of delivering on the promises, Joe Biden fell asleep, nothing happened, and the cannabis stocks got decimated to a point where everybody gave up. However, look at what just happened to the cannabis ETF last week. It is up 43%. All of a sudden, even the people that gave up on the possibility of a cannabis reform started tweeting again. Are cannabis stocks running on inside info? We also saw what appears to be various coordinated tweets encouraging cannabis reform. It's time to reschedule marijuana. Former NFL star talks marijuana rescheduling with top Trump administration officials at White House meeting. Even Mike Tyson, who knows Donald Trump personally, is advocating for cannabis reform.
Put a bunch of people that don't like each other in a room and give them alcohol. They kill each other. You give them some cannabis, they start taking selfies with one another. And they hate each other. It's just a whole different thing.
In this video, you're going to learn why you should care about cannabis reform, assuming, of course, you're interested in making money. What are the problems in the industry right now, and which two stocks will benefit greatly if the reform finally happens? My name is Mariusz Konieczny, and I've been investing in the stock market full-time for 16 years. I'm also the founder of microcapexplosions.com, which is a private membership website for small and microcap stocks. We find unknown stocks before they become popular. Cannabis industry faces a weird problem. It is legal and illegal at the same time. You can consume it in some places and you can go to jail in other places. However, just because it is legal in some places does not mean it is legal in the country as a whole. What? Yes, it is ridiculous. And listen to this, because cannabis is illegal on the federal level, cannabis stocks cannot trade on US exchanges. So they trade on Canadian exchanges. However, because cannabis is legal in Canada, Canadian stocks can trade on US exchanges. I'm not making this up. Let me repeat it again. US cannabis stocks cannot trade on US exchanges, so they trade in Canada, while Canadian cannabis stocks can trade in Canada, but they trade in the US. Also, if you grow cannabis in California, you can sell it in California, but you cannot ship it to New York. Picture this, you want to buy an orange. Well, you can't buy it if it was grown in California. It has to be grown and shipped in your own state. But we have bad weather in our state most of the time. Doesn't matter. Figure it out how to grow oranges in snow. Also, because of this mess, cannabis companies cannot deduct certain business expenses that other regular businesses can. They don't have access to regular banking, they can't take out loans. And this is because cannabis is categorized as a Schedule I drug like heroin. And cannabis is nothing like heroin. So the proponents of cannabis reform wanted to be moved from Schedule I to Schedule III.
I have to ask you, what is the problem right now? Because it seems it's on its road to being legally nationwide. What are the hurdles you're dealing with right now?
Scheduling from 1 to 3, you have to believe cannabis is in the same categorized as heroin. How do you categorize it with heroin? Anybody that ever smoked cannabis know there's no comparison. And that's just ridiculous. So we're working on making a Schedule 3 and open up safe banking, because there's over 500,000 people that can't get loans because they're in the cannabis business alone. And that's just so ridiculous.
The reason why the cannabis ETF is up 43% in the last few days is because investors are betting that cannabis is going to be rescheduled from Schedule 1, which would open up banking and allow certain business deductions for US cannabis companies. However, rescheduling does not mean federal legalization. It also does not mean interstate commerce, where, let's say, California producers could ship the product to other states. But, you and I know that markets are forward-looking, and successful rescheduling would open up the path for future legalization and interstate commerce. In other words, you get rescheduling and cannabis stocks go to the moon, or at least begin their journeys to the moon. Imagine a world, or US to be more specific, where cannabis is legal and interstate commerce is allowed. Which companies would benefit the most? Which state has the brand name for cannabis? Which state has the best weather to grow cannabis? California, California, California. Location, location, location. Because of the heritage, California has the brand name for cannabis. Everybody wants California cannabis. Also, California has the best weather to grow cannabis. In other words, with interstate commerce, California would have a moat or competitive advantage. No other state could compete with California. However, today, California is the hardest state to make money with cannabis. There's too much supply versus the local demand. And all of this supply has to be sold within the state, causing the prices to be low. Pricing in other states is not just a little bit higher, it is multiple times higher. With eventual legalization and interstate commerce, California producers would literally be able to print money. They could produce it cheaply in California and sell it at high prices to other states. And not only that, prices in California would have to increase too. Otherwise, the product would just be exported outside of California. Also, beverage and alcohol companies would get involved in cannabis to diversify their product offerings. You see, right now, legally, they cannot get involved. But they are watching, especially alcohol companies, since alcohol consumption is down. And once cannabis is legal, they would acquire cannabis companies from California, because why start from scratch if you can acquire experienced and established players? The Californian companies that will benefit the most from the cannabis reform are Glasshouse Brands and Leef Brands. Both companies dominate their spaces. Cannabis is divided into two sides, the flower side and the extract side. The flower side is the most self-explanatory, smoking. That's what we all think when we hear the word cannabis. This is where Glasshouse Brands operates. They are the #1 flower producer in the state of California. The company is also vertically integrated, meaning that it grows its own flower, manufactures its own brands, and sells its product through its own dispensaries. Leef Brands, on the other hand, is on the extract side, the extract business. So the company takes the flower and extracts the cannabis properties from it to produce a product that looks like this or like this. Leef Brands sells this product to the top brands in California, which then use it to make the finished products like vape pens, gummies, or cannabis-infused drinks. The stock of Glasshouse Brands increased significantly since 2023. This is because the company delivered incredible fundamental performance. As you can see, revenues increased from $63 million in 2021 to $201 million in 2024. Gross profit margins improved from 25% in 2021 to 48.48% in 2024. And EBITDA went from negative $12 million in 2021 to positive $40 million in 2024. Today, Glasshouse Brands has a market cap of approximately $500 million. Recently, the stock has been under pressure because one of its farms was raided by ICE.
And we begin our 6 o'clock news with that breaking news. Federal agents and protesters clashing, people throwing things at agents as potentially hundreds of undocumented people potentially rounded up in a massive federal raid happening in Camarillo.
Yeah, this is at a cannabis farm there.
Right now, because the stock price of Glasshouse moved up significantly, the next big catalyst is when the legalization happens. Here's what a shareholder of Glasshouse Brands told me about the upside.
When you say that there's a huge upside, is the legalization necessary for that upside to come?
Yeah, legalization has to be done. I mean, I think a lot of the big consumer brands, a lot of the alcohol companies, beverage companies are looking at cannabis, and they're all eager to come into cannabis, but they need some clarity from the legal standpoint, from the federal legal standpoint, that, hey, you know what, this can be sold through multiple states.
Leef Brands is in a different place than Glasshouse in terms of future stock market gains or catalysts. The stock of Leef Brands is also up significantly. As you can see, it is up 440% from September 2024. However, this wasn't because of fundamental performance, but because of more awareness and promise of a fundamental performance. In other words, Leef Brands' stock price can go up with or without cannabis reform, because the fundamental performance hasn't been seen in the financial statements yet, but it will very soon. And here's why. Right now, Leef Brands is viewed as an unexciting and unprofitable company. As you can see, revenues are about $30 million. In 2022, they were $27 million. In 2024, they were $28.5 million. So no revenue growth. Boring, not exciting. That's why the company is trading for only about $30 million market cap, or about 1x revenues. Also, the gross profit margins are low. 35.38% in 2022, 32.73% in 2023, 31.37% in 2024. Again, boring, not exciting. And of course, the company is unprofitable. Adjusted EBITDA was negative $2.4 million in 2024. But this will change very soon because of this. Up to this point, in order to produce the extract, Leef Brands was buying the flower from 200 to 300 different farms. That's the cost of sales on the income statement. A few years ago, Leef Brands bought a farm. They licensed it for cannabis and invested millions of dollars into it. Recently, they planted the farm and are in the process of harvesting it. This farm is a huge deal for the company.
I would call it transformational, and I don't think that's sensationalistic.
So really excited, plants in the ground now, first harvest in June, go back in July, second harvest around October, and really in the third quarter, Penny, is when we're gonna start mixing that material into our extraction line, and investors should start to see, as third and fourth quarter financials come out, our margins really improve by using that in-house material. That's about half the cost if we were to source it from a third-party farm.
And I know you were sourcing from about 300 different farms. Mm-hmm. So just from a logistics standpoint, this should absolutely help, but the margins is what I'm excited about. And that's one of the things what I've been looking at Glasshouse and what they're doing in their margins. I see you moving your operations very much in sync with what they've done, just a little bit behind them.
But we're planting 65 acres this year. It's a 187-acre permit for cannabis. So next year we hope to scale into more, and then the following year, within 2 or 3 years, be using that full 187 acres. But when you think about going out into 26 and 27, there's an opportunity for us to continue to use more of our material at that lower cost. So I think this year is exciting, and I'm really excited to see the results show up in the third and fourth quarter, because that'll give investors an idea of how we can boost reduce these margins, but then you can start to think about what that will look like if we were to double the acreage, and that if we got up to the full 187 acres. And this is the opportunity to take all the strengths and great qualities of that business, but change that margin profile and, first get us up into the 40s, and then looking out to 26 and 27, there's an opportunity to get to over 50% gross margins there.
In summary, the cannabis ETF is soaring because investors are speculating that cannabis will get rescheduled from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3. This should open up a path towards future interstate commerce and legalization. The companies that operate in California will benefit the most from the ability to ship across the state lines. The two most prominent companies are Glasshouse Brands and Leef Brands. Their upsides are absolutely massive. However, what I like the most about Leef Brands is that their stock can go up with or without cannabis reform, because the benefit from growing their own material on their own farm didn't show up in the financial statements yet. This catalyst alone is transformational. With any cannabis reform, Leef Brands has an extra catalyst. So with that being said, thank you for watching and see you next time. Attention, attention, attention. This message is brought to you as a requirement by the British Columbia Securities Commission. In plain language, in a prominent spot, in a prominent fund, and designed to catch your attention, I would like to inform you that in case you are not able to see the screen and can only hear the audio, this video is disseminated on behalf of Leef Brands.